Thank you very much. So, hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much to the Surgical MIC for inviting us here today to the talk. The MedTech Foundation first started in 2015, just based in Leeds, and now it's grown into a whole national engagement initiative, and it's really focused around inspiring, connecting, and educating the next generation of interdisciplinary healthcare innovator, and its focus is really around the students and the early career professionals. So to firstly introduce who we have here today, I'm Jake Veer. I'm the National Director at the MedTech Foundation. However, this is, I suppose, a voluntary role I do day to day. I'm actually a final year medical student, and I've completed a master's in medical research as well. I'll let my colleagues also introduce themselves.
Hi guys, my name is Raj. I'm a fourth year medic at Newcastle, and I've done a master's in immunology.
And hello everyone, I am Chandani. I'm the National Research Director for MTF, and my day-to-day role, I'm an academic foundation doctor at LTHT and at the University of Leeds.
Wonderful. So today we're going to cover a brief overview of what the MedTech Foundation is. I'll move to the side so I can actually see as well. We're then going to talk about our flagship event, the Innovation Program. We're then going to cover some of our highlights and success stories from the last year, and then finally wrap up, bringing it back to the present day, and then looking forward as to what our future strategy is and how you can all get involved and try to help us really support that next generation coming through. So firstly, I'll talk very briefly about the current state of innovation. So in the literature, we've had a number of different reports, and I'll pull up a few quotes. So we had the accelerated innovation report that really said clinicians are frontline decision makers on innovation and must be at the heart of system transformation. And as a result of this, I really need more hands. Thank you, Raj. So then the NHS long-term plan also was created, and again, some key quotes from that are patients benefit enormously from all the research and innovation and breakthroughs that occur, and we need more of it. The Topol review said every future doctor will be a scholar and enable their patients and their communities. They will serve and foster a culture of innovation and develop bespoke health implementations. And finally, the Future Doctor program called for the development of a new and innovative workforce. So this is all the literature that the MIC is built very strongly upon, and from an early career professional, there is definitely a need for innovation and a need for change. However, the current state of innovation is that there's a lot of barriers, and I'm going to talk about a couple barriers at the undergraduate and student level, which is what we're focused on. A lot of these barriers may also exist, I suppose, at the more senior level, but again, my expertise is that more junior level, which is what I will be looking at. And so firstly, there's a big lack of awareness. So we have a number of different student societies in lots of different, we call spokes, institutions around the UK. And every time we're running programs, there's lots of different medical students, engineering students, computer science students, which have never even heard about innovation in healthcare or getting involved with it, or even MedTech as an industry. So myself, before I came across the foundation, didn't even know that MedTech is something you can get involved with as a medical profession. And as a result, usually opportunities that do exist are really competitive, either in terms of funding or in terms of the very limited protected time that you have to access these. And a lot of the time, these opportunities are very siloed off and not interdisciplinary. So my current medical school, for example, the curriculum is only ever medical students. A lot of my colleagues I've spoken to outside, like computer science, generally their course just stayed within computer science. And so it's really up to initiatives like the Foundation and the MIC to bring together and break down a lot of these barriers. And so how we propose breaking down these barriers occur is with structured training and really reducing these entry requirements to make it open access and available to everyone, regardless of prior knowledge. And this could be through a standardized, structured national curriculum, which is one of the things we try to build with our innovation program, which we'll be coming on to a bit shortly. And really, the power is that interdisciplinary expertise, which the MIC really fosters, and we've also tried to foster with the foundation. So, as a very broad overview, the NHS historically has had a problem with both developing and implementing these innovative technologies, and that's where the power of the MIC came in. And we would set up, I suppose, as a subset of the MIC, really focusing on the student and early career professionals. And we have a national overseeing body, and we also have a lot of local spoke centers based in institutions, and we're up to 15 different cities nationally. And so our vision and mission is really all around a future trying to marry innovation within healthcare technology, driven by this wider interdisciplinary community of talented individuals with this open access to training, expertise, and mentorship. And we're trying to build this community to learn, become the next generation, and learn effectively from all the expertise in this room and the surgical MIC. And we try to achieve this really through 4 key activities, the first being our innovation program, MedX events, internships, and hackathons. So our innovation program is a 6 to 8 week accelerator program. I like to call it a 0 to hero program. So we'll take individuals from no prior knowledge, teach them all the basics about coming up with an idea, and bringing it all the way right through to a Dragon's Den style pitch at the end to investors or people from the business school. So we take these students, mix them interdisciplinary to get all of that expertise between them, and give them mentorship, interactive workshops, and guide them all the way through. And just to dive into a little bit more detail about our innovation program, this is something we've been refining over the years. So it first started in Leeds in 2014 by William Bolton. And every year we've been slowly iterating on this formula. Each different local center or spoke does things a little bit differently. So for example, in Cambridge, they extend this time period over their Christmas based on their cohort wanting longer time over Christmas. From where I'm from in Leicester, the cohort is usually really busy over Christmas and they don't want to do that, so it's a condensed program. In Newcastle, it's even shortened down to 4 weeks. So this is a template rather than a, I suppose, rigorous must-follow criteria, but really it focuses around a launch event introducing these unmet clinical problems, which draws parallels with the mixed themes of what they're very specifically focusing on. We then try to introduce the key concept generation, so taking it from an idea, bringing in some design methodology from engineering and business. We then teach them those intellectual property basics, all about IP law. We then go into device regulations. We talk about the business model canvas, businessing out your customer segments, your target markets, and then finally wrapping it all together with a final pitch and how to pitch to these dragons. Our second key event is MedX Talks. So this is a TEDx-inspired event, really, all about inspiring and trying to network and give people that hunger to get involved and that exposure. We then try to give people internships. So this is a lot of the theory we've been teaching on previously, putting it into practice. And these are a couple of the providers that have previously hosted internships, including the surgical MIC here, which we're very grateful to. And lastly, we try to do hackathons. So it's just like this innovation program we've been describing, but condensed into a weekend. So usually 2 days to rapid fire everything. And these are some previous collaborators. I'm now going to hand over to my colleagues to talk about some of our achievements.
Hi, guys. So yeah, with everything that we've got going on at MedTech Foundation, we sort of strive ourselves on producing results. And the first way in which we try to reach out to all of our members is through our sort of hackathon events. So if you're anything like me, does anyone want to raise their hand if you know what a hackathon is? No? Oh, perfect. I was just apparently the only one that didn't. So before Jake Veer's mentoring of me, I think I had no idea, but slowly I've learned. But the most appropriate definition I could find is that it is a event where people engage in sort of rapid collaborative processes, and I think that is in heart the spirit of innovation. For us, though, our hackathons generally tend to be more around health tech solutions, where instead of the end process being a coded project, it's more of a business pitch, which is why we do all of these Dragon's Den style pitches. Last year, our hackathon was in Leeds, and it was one of our most recent in-person events with a huge array of signups from around the country, going as far as Wales and London, and across a wide array of disciplines. So medicine, dentistry, computer science, and engineers, which kind of just shows what the spirit of our collaboration is about. So last year's hackathon sort of focused around these unmet needs that we have, which are telehealth, sustainability in medicine, as well as investment in the healthcare workforce itself. It was split over 2 days with all of our participants coming to both, where we had workshops, keynote speeches, networking events, and everything that you kind of need to initialize sort of a project and then come up with a pitch, like we mentioned, in that Dragon's Den style setting. Overall, like we had, sorry, the thing's not working. Yeah, so these are our winners, and I always like to report on the success stories that we have. So these 3 teams received prizes for their pitches on that day, and I think once again it just speaks to the testament of community that we try to build within the MedTech Foundation. Outside of our own sort of events, we also collaborate quite a bit with societies like ACID. So in 2022, you may recognize that guy, he sat right next to me. Jake Veer presented at Future Surgery about innovation as a sort of curriculum starter in the undergrad medicine sort of pathway. And since then, we've gone on to present at ACID 2023, which was particularly special to me because that is where I met Jake Veer for the first time and got wrapped up in MedTech Foundation. We were both presenting on the pre-conference talk about innovation in medicine, and once again, I cannot harp on about how this sort of collaborative starts to bring people together from a wide array of disciplines. Jake Veer from the innovation point of view and me from my 3D printing sort of experiences. Throughout this time, we obviously have all of these events going on, and I just kind of wanted to draw attention to one particular case study, which is Claribone. Now, Claribone was at that pre-conference talk about innovation, and they were discussing the idea of hosting a 3D printed simulation for carpal bones in the hand, because having just done a course, they realized that the current simulations weren't up to scratch. I would usually play the video, but I have a sneaky suspicion that isn't going to work today. So with these 3D printed bones, after the conference, they've gone away and started their own company focusing around plate fixation in the hands, and they've just recently presented at Future Surgery as well and are growing their business by the day. And then we move on to BOTA, where we've collaborated on their innovation course as well as hosting a hackathon with them. And I think I don't usually show feedback outright just because I try to keep it more personal and not publish it. But this quote really did grab me from it, which kind of speaks to the testament of what I think this whole collaboration should be about, where we think outside the box to find a range of solutions. And I think it underpins a sense of creativity that personally I find that undergrad medicine has lost in some recent years, and being able to reignite that sort of spark is really exciting from our point of view as well. And now we're an official partner of BOTA, developing them a innovation program specifically for post-grad clinicians in surgical training. Thank you.
Thanks, Raj. So the next event that we'd like to put some spotlight on is our second annual national conference, which took place earlier this year on the 28th of Jan at St. John's College at the University of Cambridge. So the theme of this event was determined by sending out a survey to the members of our organization and the committee, and we then decided on the use of the integration of artificial intelligence in clinical medicine. So this was a one-day event, and it received a great amount of traction with with the tickets to the event sold out within days, such that we had to then increase our capacity, and the event sold out yet again. About 100 attendees were present on the day, and ranging from undergraduate students from a variety of different disciplines to early career professionals traveling from all across the country. We were really honored and pleased to have Dr. Avi Mehra as the keynote speaker for the conference. So Dr. Mehra, I don't know if you are aware of him or if you've heard of him before, is the clinical safety officer for IBM and the co-founder of Doctorpreneurs, which is a popular not-for-profit community of medical entrepreneurs. So he was giving a talk on generative AI in healthcare, and joining him was Dr. Alexander Deng, who is a clinical geneticist and a clinical AI lead at the Alan Turing Institute, along with Dr. Aaron Lin, who is the co-founder of MindStep, which is a brain and mental health app, which he's currently developing as an NHS clinical entrepreneur. So each of them brought a unique perspective on the use of artificial intelligence across different disciplines, looking at it from an industry point of view, from a startup point of view, and also the use of AI in academia. Along with that, we also set up a panel discussion exploring and highlighting the role of AI and the careers that some of the three individuals have built in the world of MedTech. So joining us on the panel was Mr. James Neffendorf, who's a consultant ophthalmologist at King's College London, and along with him is Dr. Aaron Lin, who I mentioned is an early career professional, and Ian So, who's a final year medical student at St. George's in London. So this panel discussion not only gave us some insight into how they've actually carved their career in MedTech, but also served as a good Q&A opportunity for attendees to pick their brains and understand what are the ways in which we can actually develop and build a career in innovation and MedTech alongside clinical medicine. And along with that, attendees also had the option to attend one of three different workshops. So one of the first workshops available was an introduction to deep learning and its application within medicine, which was kindly offered by Exeter MedTech and Biopharma. And they looked at the development and use of neural networks within medicine. Our second workshop was provided by the MedTech Foundation, looking at the use of innovation in MedTech and applying it within the National Health Service. And it gave a taster to our 2-day hackathon and our 6-week innovation program. And our third workshop was looking at how to get started in Python with the use of real medical data sets and real-life examples. So, given that this was our second national conference, we have gained a lot of different lessons that we've learned along the way, and we'd like to share on this platform today, just in case if you are thinking of organizing a conference aimed at undergraduates and early career professionals. One of the first things that I think we've done quite uniquely is that we've set and established the theme based on what our members would like and what our organization would like to hear. And which is why we sent out a survey, collected some feedback, and they then decided on the theme of integrative AI in clinical medicine. The second thing that we were quite pleased about was the diversity of speakers that we brought along, encouraging and bringing and showcasing talents from different points in their career. But we do recognize the lack of gender diversity, and also something that we would like to build on further is bringing on speakers from different backgrounds, so for instance, industry and engineering, and bringing that along as well to then provide an opportunity for attendees to network with them. The third thing that worked quite well with our conference was the choice of location, the geography. I think it's quite important to find something that's easily accessible and affordable for undergraduates and early career professionals to get to, and also serve as a good area where they can then have some time to visit the city or see some attractions that are around as well, which is why we chose Cambridge for this conference. And finally, I think the most important thing with these events is that most individuals over there are trying to network with the speakers over there and find that opportunity to talk to them and understand and learn from them and see what are the ways that they've carved a career in MedTech, what are the things that they can do at their stage to then try and improve and build on their development. So almost a quarter of the time that was allocated for the keynote speakers and for the panel discussion was purely just for Q&A. And despite strict timekeeping, we still overran. So it just shows that there is this thirst for knowledge, and people are really just wanting to know and network with the clinicians that were present and other individuals. Overall, the conference went really well. We received really positive feedback, and the attendees, we believe, have left having learned how AI can be applied in clinical medicine and feeling inspired to innovate. Last but not least, something that we'd like to highlight is the activity of our spokes. I think the spokes play a very important role in meeting our organizational aims and objectives at a local level. We have about 14 spokes nationally. We have one here in Leeds. Nearby in the region, we have one in Hull and York. Otherwise, we also have some in Cambridge that we spoke about, in Leicester. So at each of the universities that we have, either where I've been to or where the committee represents. And these spokes have been instrumental in organizing local events, so the 6-week innovation program, which has been successfully run this year in Cambridge, University of Leicester, and in Newcastle as well. And alongside with that, they bring in experts that are local to the region as well, who can then try and network with the undergraduate students across various disciplines and encourage them to innovate. We've also organized some coding sessions through the spokes to try and encourage and educate clinicians, for instance, on how to code, if that's something that they would then like to use in their day-to-day practice, and also organized hackathons. I'm just going to pass it on to Jacob, who's now going to talk about our future strategy.
Thank you. So just to wrap up, I'm going to finish off with what we've got planned going forward and how you can help us if you're interested. So firstly, we have our hackathon this year. It's going to be on the 6th and 7th of April, which is 2 weeks' time from this weekend. It's going to be hosted in Oxford, so the first day in Oxford Brookes, the second day in the University of Oxford. If you're interested as an early career professional and attending, we'll have a link at the end. If you're perhaps a more senior career professional and you're interested in either collaborating or running workshops for future hackathons, please get in touch with us and we'd be really interested. This year, as voted again by the members we serve, the themes are around the use of AI, the use of extended realities, and the use of more sustainable healthcare, the latter two especially aligning to the themes of the surgical MIC. We're running our own national innovation programs. So the first is aimed at the undergraduate cohort, so the students and the early career professionals. We're looking to run that in summer of 2024, so in a couple months' time. If you're interested, again, as a student in signing up, get in touch. If you're interested in running workshops, being a mentor, being a judge, sponsoring our event, again, please get in touch. It would be really beneficial to pass on your expertise to the next generation. The second innovation program we're looking to run is in collaboration with the British Orthopaedic Trainee Association, and that's focused more on the postgraduate surgical trainees. From our previous events and collaborations with them, they've been really well received, and all of those members are really thirsty and have been saying they want to learn more and more about innovation, and that's led to this entire fully fledged program. Again, details TBC. If you're interested, please let us know. We'd love to chat further. Finally, more on the research side of things, we're trying to set up a research incubator. So this is looking at, again, undergraduate students. We're going to lead them through a research program to teach them the basics about research, as at medical school, that tends to be very hit or miss, depending on what you get taught and to what quality. So we want to give them all a baseline level of knowledge. And then off the back of that, successful students who have engaged with the program, we're hoping to engage in research projects. So if there's any research mentors out there interested in running projects with successful students, please get in touch with us. We'll have a link at the end. We're currently hosting a national cross-sectional survey investigating the use of coding in medical school curriculum. We anticipate there's not going to be very much, but we'll let you know of the findings of that. And we're also in collaboration with other organizations. This one in particular is OSCEZ, which focuses around medical education. And I believe the surgical MIC is supporting this organization. So it's all about those collaborations, really. Finally, any early career professionals in the room, we have committee applications opening in June. So follow our social media to get involved. And that is everything we have to say. That's been an overview. Thank you for your attention.